Are you thinking about buying a new construction home? If you are, this video is for you. My name is Amy Brown. I'm a realtor here in the Orlando area, and I help people from all over the country and internationally move to this wonderful greater Orlando area. So if you are looking to buy or sell in the Orlando area, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to assist you. Now let's dive right into today's topic, the new construction closing process, because it is different than buying an existing home. So we're going to talk about some of those differences and let you know what you can expect at closing. There are differences in timelines, and there are key steps for you as the buyer to have a smooth process. Let's start with the initial timelines. If you are buying a lot that is dirt, or possibly the home was just started, maybe the slab was laid, and that's it. So we're gonna call that building from dirt. That is a situation where you will often get delays from the county in different permits. So a builder will give you an estimated timeline of when they'll go to settlement, when closing will happen. And often that does happen. Often what the builder says of when the home will get to closing and be completed is accurate. But we are in Florida. So we have some issues that maybe the rest of the country does not have. We have weather delays, sometimes labor delays, sometimes the pipeline for things like windows and doors backs up from time to time. But I would say, I'm going to jinx it now just by saying this, but in the past year or two, I have not been seeing delays in the closing. It seems like as long as the weather cooperates, that things are moving along on time. So after the home is started, what can you expect? Well, you will get updates from either the construction manager or the builder rep on what's happening with the house, and those are always exciting to see the house, start to come alive and look like a house instead of a shell. And it's always fun to drive by that at night and see what's happening. Really, a milestone to look at if you are building new construction is when the kitchen cabinets and bathroom cabinets are installed. Not just delivered, not just in the house, but installed. Once that happens, the general rule of thumb is closing will occur about 45 to 60 days from that time point. So that is just something to have in the back of your head. Around this period, the lender is going to reach back out to you. They're going to re-qualify you. They're going to look at all your documents again. They're going to confirm your employment again. They're going to make sure you haven't taken on additional new debt. They're going to make sure you haven't bought a new car and that you still qualify. So really at this time, you can go ahead and shop the mortgage. You can see if a lender, an outside lender, not the builder's lender, can offer you a better rate or better terms. Having said that, in the last year or two in the Orlando area, it is really hard for a private lender to compete with these builder interest rates. So it's always good to shop around, but 99% of the time you are going to want to go ahead and probably use the builder's lender because it's tied to closing cost incentives that you'll receive. And also sometimes, depending on what kind of new construction you built, sometimes you can get a locked in lower interest rate. That's really something more so when you're buying a quick move in home. So the builder contract terms, the builder contract, if you're my client, you will know that I have told you this many times. The contract is 110% written for the benefit of the builder, zero benefit to the buyer. So you really just need to understand what you're signing. the buyers, if you choose to delay closing for any reason, you can be penalized per day. So you do not want to do that. Now, of course, if the builder delays settlement, there is no penalty and no fine for them. So typically about 10 to 14 days before settlement, you're going to have something called a new home orientation. There are many different terms for this. Each builder seems to have their own phrase. It's also called the blue tape walkthrough. I think it's one of the most fun times of new construction. I really enjoy holding that roll of blue tape. It's like a scavenger hunt, Easter egg hunt. Now, ideally, before the blue tape walkthrough, you would want to have the third party inspection. I really, really, really would encourage you to have a third party inspection. This is not where to save money. This is the best money you will spend in this whole process. So in a perfect world, about 2 days before that new home orientation, you would have the third party inspection. And then at the blue tape walkthrough, you could email over to the builder rep a copy of the inspection. Now, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes the third party inspection happens a day or two after the blue tape walkthrough. It's fine. It's not a problem. I'm just saying, in a perfect world, that's my preference. But again, depending on the schedule of the buyer, of the builder rep, of the home inspector, you have to coordinate several schedules. So that's why it doesn't always happen that way. But I would make sure, if you could, that you have it done early. So what you're going to do at this new home orientation, unlike an existing home, the builder is going to meet you there and they're going to explain to you how your home works, which is fantastic. They're going to show you how to shut off your water. They're going to show you, if you have irrigation, how to control that. They're going to show you how to change your HVAC filter and how often you should change it. So it is really a time for you to understand how your new home operates. And again, that is something you do not get with an existing home. At that same time, you and I, your agent, and also the builder are going to walk through and identify any defects in the home. Many times there are defects in the paint, there are paint chips, there are scuffs on the wall, maybe a faucet is a little bit leaky, maybe there's a cracked floor tile, maybe the garage door only opens and closes a certain amount, not the full way. So all of those items get the blue tape. And so that is something that can cause some stress for new construction home buyers because they see the blue tape as a negative. It's not. You want your home to be as close to perfect as possible, and the blue tape is how that happens. So just know you will have blue tape on your walls, and it's okay. It's good. You want to see that. And after that, you have a final walkthrough and the closing day. So the final walkthrough happens maybe a day or two before closing, and that's the final check of the home where you walk through it and you agree in writing that all those blue tape issues were completed. But wait, what if they're not? What happens? That's an excellent question, and I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. Occasionally, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say the dishwasher somehow has a ding in the door panel, and it looks ugly, and some one of the tradespeople did that by accident. It happens. We're all human. Mistakes happen, and they can't get that new door panel in for about 3 weeks. So that's something you, as the buyer, make an individual decision. Do you go to closing, or do you not? But if you don't, remember, you can be penalized. What generally happens in these situations, and it depends on what the broken or incomplete item is. So my advice would change depending on what the item is. But let's just use the dishwasher example. The builder will issue you a document, something called a we owe you form. And it says we didn't get, this dishwasher fixed in time for closing, but we will owe it to you. We'll get it done as soon as possible, most likely 3 weeks after closing. You sign it, the builder rep signs it, everybody gets a copy, and that's what happens most of the time in those situations where something from the blue tape walkthrough has not been completed. So, what happens next? Right about this time, you're going to be hearing from the title company. They're going to give you a date and a time to show up at the title company to go ahead and sign the documents. There's generally not a lot of flexibility with that, so please know that you might have to alter your work schedule. You might have to call in sick that day. Whatever needs to happen, you need to show up and get those keys. Now, something else that happens, I want to just back up when talking about loan shopping, is talking about rate locks. A few weeks before settlement, the builder's mortgage company is going to reach out to you, the buyer, and talk about locking your rate. There's no right or wrong answer. It's like going to Vegas. If the rates dip a bit, most buyers say stick. I want to lock right here. There's a little bit of flexibility with time, as far as you could wait another week to lock the rate and hope that it dips down. But at some point, you do need to lock in the rate. Probably 30 to 60 days prior to closing is when most buyers lock in their rate. Again, there is some flexibility with that. So, on closing day, I go with you, your agent. We go to the builder title company because you have to use them as well to get some of those builder incentives. And then, assuming you use the builder's mortgage company, their in-house mortgage company, you will get the keys at the end of closing. If you use an outside mortgage company, that's not always the case. You may have to wait to get those keys because the builder is going to ensure that everything is done and funded with that mortgage before they hand over those keys to you. And when it's their in-house lender, they know that it's funded. They don't have to worry. They are the same company, so it's all good. So, and after you get the keys, it's time for you and I to celebrate and really enjoy the day. It's a wonderful day. It's nerve-wracking and exciting, all wrapped into one. Post-closing, what happens? The builder, right after closing, is going to demaster the locks for your home to ensure that you have safety. While your home is being constructed, there is a master key that unlocks the entire neighborhood. But don't worry, that will be changed before you move into your home, so you don't have to worry. You could always call a locksmith and have the locks rekeyed, but you really don't need to. But save yourself that money. Use that to have a really good third-party home inspection. So what you want to do right after closing, I know you're excited. You don't want to think about any more paperwork or any more parts of this process, but hang on. In the drawers of the kitchen, there's going to be a lot of builder warranties, particularly for the appliances. So you want to go through and register every appliance in that house, including your HVAC system, your dishwasher, your stove, your microwave, your refrigerator. Make sure that's all registered so you can take advantage of those appliance warranties, because those appliance warranties fall under they don't fall under the builder warranty. They are separate, and you need to get registered to protect your rights. So I would also encourage you before the 1 year mark of living in your home, right about 11 months of living in your home, I would encourage you to go ahead and have another third party inspection. The home will settle, things will change, and you just want to make sure that nothing major has gone wrong in that time. I want to also encourage you to use a realtor, me, when you purchase new construction. We are just alongside you, walking through the process with you, and really just watching and making sure that things are happening on a timely basis, and that there's no funny business going on by the builder. You would be surprised what can happen in the new construction. But when you work with a professional, you have peace of mind that someone else that does this all the time is watching over this entire process. Thank you for watching.